Hello friends, myself Shriram. Welcome to another video. In this video, we will solve some more problems or examples essentially so that we learn how do we go about solving some of the C problems. So let's say that now I need to write a program where an input is given to me, and let's say the input is a 5-digit number. So if such an input is given to me, that means let's say the number given to me is 72345, then I am supposed to calculate the sum of digits. That means I should do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 like that. So that's the first problem we will basically, or we will solve this example. And then another again a pretty interesting thing is, like in our school days, we know how do you compute area of triangle if the three sides of triangle are given. So we will write a program so that we know how do you find the area of triangle, and obviously we are learning programming. So such problems or such examples help us to write programs. So let's go to Visual Studio Code now. I'll take you there, and then we basically are supposed to handle this problem. So now what exactly we mean by is, like, now you are given an input. So let me now basically create a file, and we will say the name of the file is sum digits. I'll just make D capital so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so sum digits, and then here I will just copy this code. Okay, so now we have this basic things ready. Now we want to write a program. That means now what is that? So there will be a number which will be input, and that number is 5 digit. So for example, we can always make it 4 digits, or we can make it 6 digits and things like that. That's not an issue. The number is 5 digit. Obviously you can't have a large number because it is your integer data type essentially is going to limit you. So anyway, that's not a big issue or an issue right now. So let us assume that it's a 5-digit number, and we want to basically do the summation. So number is basically the inputs. That means I need to do a scanf, and I need to take an input from the user. So let's first do that. So we will just make this number as integer number. Okay, and this is the input which will be given to us by user. So we will have here printf, and in the printf we will say enter a 5-digit number. Okay, so that's the input given to us by user, and then we are going to do scanf, and then percentage %d, and here number. So now you basically will receive this number in the NUM, and then we want to basically do the summation of all the digits. So let us say that the input given to us by user, let's say 1 2 3 4 5. That means what we want is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. That is what the answer should be. That means now we want to keep on adding the digits. So we require a variable where we will initialize it to 0, and that particular thing will keep on adding the sum of each digit as we basically get. So how do you do that? So you basically will have to have a variable. So let me just have another variable where I will just say that it's a sum. So I will initialize this sum to 0. Why? Because the sum has to be 0 to start with, and then I will keep on adding 1 plus 2 plus 3 like that. Okay, so that's why I have this variable which will be considered as the sum. Now what happens is, like, if I want to basically get 1 2 3 4 5, that means now if I am able to divide the number, and if I am able to extract the digit, each digit, and then if I get the digit, then I will keep on adding. That means now you basically have to extract digit, and then you basically have to keep on doing that for each of the things. That means I will first extract 5, then I will extract 4, I will extract 3, I will extract 2, and I will extract 1. Okay, and we are not going to write a loop or something. Why? Because we have not reached that stage currently in our video series. So we will have to do it one by one. So we will first take out 5, then we will take out 4, like that. So once again, to take out that, I will require a temporary variable or a variable which will help me. So I will have integer and I will call it as, say, remainder is r. Why? Because if I divide, then I am going to, that means if I use modulus operator, so essentially I will require a mod operator. So let me just put it here, mod operator. Mod operator we are going to use. So I am going to use r as the place, and then to store the remaining digits we can use the same num, we can change it, but if you want to preserve num, then we basically can have say another temporary variable which we can consider it as n. Okay, so that means the input number is the input, then s is used for sum to calculate the sum, then r is for the remainder, and n is basically used to basically keep the digits which will come out one by one. So let's see that. So after I have done the scanf, what I need to now do is I will basically use r as a remainder, and whatever the number that is given to me, I am going to basically say mod of 10. So if I do mod of 10, then what exactly I am doing it is last digit I am extracting. So I am extracting last digit. So extract last digit. Why? Because if I divide, that means if I do mod operator on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then what will happen is 1, 2, 3, 4 will remain. Okay, so basically what I am doing is, that means as a mod operator I will get the last one, that is 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the remaining digit. So where do I store that remaining digits? N is equal to num divided by 10. So this is the remaining digits of, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means remaining digits will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you that means in the r you already got 5. So what you will do is sum, that is a sum variable, s variable is, s was initialized to 0, so I will now add r to it. So this is the sum of the extracted digit. So this is like a sum with respect to the last digit. That means here I have extracted it. So sum of extracted digits, or essentially is the sum that is happening with respect to currently last digit. Now I need to do this same thing more number of times. So what now do is, here once again I need to do, now I have n. Why? Because n is, here I have divided with 10, that means the number after dividing by 10 will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will be using n now. So here I am going to extract fourth digit. This is the fourth digit, or fourth digit, and here instead of last digit essentially is the fifth. So let me just put it in bracket, this is fifth digit. Okay, so I extracted the fourth digit, then once again in n I have got num divided by 10, so remaining digits basically I will get, and then once again I will do sum is equal to sum plus r. So same thing I will do now. So I will extract third digit now. So how do I extract third digit? Once again I do this on the num basic n actually, because n is what now we are using. If I change the num, then what will happen? I can't preserve it if I require it. So I have not used num. That's the important thing. So only once I use num, and then basically what I am doing is, here I am using n. Similarly here I am using n. The reason is because the num I am not changing. Otherwise if I overwrite on num, my num will get overwritten. That's why we are using two separate variables. So num is the input. Only once we used it for getting fifth digit, and then we just used n. Okay. So here you got this third digit. Then we will get second digit. So just do it once again. So this can be second digit, and then remaining digits. So now you got this one. Then you are going to get first digit. First digit means you can't now divide it by 10. Okay, so that means this is not required, because now you have only last digit. So this is like the first digit from this side. Okay, so this is the first digit. So you essentially end up doing sum is equal to sum plus r, and then you want to print the sum. So print sum of digits, and the answer will be in S. S is having the sum of digits. And here yeah, so sum of digits is basically the sum of all the things, and I'm just going to print it. So I hope this is very easy now. So you entered a 5-digit number, and then you kept on taking out each digits by digits, and then you basically have got the final sum. So let me just run this code now. So here I am going to execute this code. I hope there are no issues. So I'll enter, let's say, 5-digit number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you will see this. Okay, so 5 plus 4 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 2, 14 plus 1, 50. Yeah, so that is correct. Okay, so we can play like this, and you can do that. So the point here is, like, this is the very important thing. One is you have a remainder where you essentially gets the last digit D, and here it's a remaining digits. So you are getting it by dividing it by 10. So if you just keep on doing, you will get it. If it is a 4-digit, then you are going to do it only 4 times. Here I have done 5 times. If it is a 6-digit number, then you need to do it one more time extra. That is, last digit will be the 6th one. Okay. So like that you can keep on doing. Now we will do the second or the another problem, like 3 sides of a triangle are input, and you would like to basically compute the area of triangle. Okay, so we can do that, area of triangle. So here when we want to do area of triangle, we will have to make use of a little this one, so functionality. So we will obviously do that. So let me just have another file, and I will say triangle area. Okay, so now we have to basically get input from user. So what is that? So obviously we will have user to enter 3 sides. Why? Because that is what we wanted to do. So let's write this here. 3 sides of a triangular input. That means we have to have 3 input from user. So we will define 3 variables, say float, side 1, side 2 and side 3. So these are the 3 float variables. And now we will require another variable which is going to compute area of triangle. So let me just make it area. And now what is the equation? So that is very important. Now how do I calculate it? So the way to calculate it is, like, you are first going to get a side distance or some distance essentially. Okay, and then you can have, say, D is equal to S1 plus S2 plus S3 divided by 2. So that is the equation that we have seen in our school days. So S1 plus S2 plus S3 you divided by 2. So you get one, basically the sum of the sides essentially, and you divide it by 2. And then if you want to compute area, then essentially what you do is you are going to take square root. So obviously I can't write here, so I will just say square root. So I want to take a square root of what? So square root D into, so D into S1 minus D into D minus S1. It doesn't matter how do I write, and then multiplied by D minus S2 multiplied by d minus s3. Okay, so if I achieve this, that means the area of square root, area of triangle is area of triangle is essentially the square root. So let me just get rid of this. Okay, so it's a square root, and then d into d minus s1 into d minus s2 and d minus s3. So I hope this is a very simple equation. You can recollect it. It was studied during the school days. So you can, that means you require one more variable which is going to do the job of d. Okay, so that's why we will have d here, and now we simply have to ask the user to enter three sides of triangle. Okay, so that is what I am just writing it here, enter three sides, and then I have to do scanf, and then we will have ampersand s1, ampersand s2, and ampersand s3. So these are the three sides of triangle that we got. Now comes very easier thing. So we just need to do this. So d is s1 plus s2 plus s3 by 2. So let me just put it in bracket. So we are done, s1 plus s2 plus s3 by 2. So that is what we have done in our school days. And then comes the area. So here we will use this area computation. Area is equal to, now comes very interesting thing. So we will do that. So let me first copy this. Okay, so I have copied only this portion. Okay. Now the problem here is I do not know how do I compute square root. Okay, so there is a ready-made thing which is available in C. So what do? I include a library. That library is called as math.h. That means it's going to support mathematics operation. Okay, it's like it's going to support. So I'm going to use this math library, and now in the math library I have a function which is going to do the square root computation. So what I do is I can have another variable if you want, and I can just call that as a t variable. Okay, and I could have done that. So that means all these things, whatever the computation I am doing, I can put it in t. This is what I get as temporary variable t, and now area is what, square root. So you will see there is a functionality square root, and in this I am just in pass t. Why? Because this was calculated d into d minus s1 and all that. So I just used here and simplified it, and now finally I can print the area of triangle. And then I can just simply say area. And that's it, I'm done. So I hope now it's very clear. So let's run this code now. Okay. So now we are ready to run this code. So let me just run this code. Enter three sides of triangle. So let us enter some three sides, say 3, 4 and 5. Yeah, so that is correct. Area of triangle must be that. Okay, so that's essentially the way you compute it. So you got this d, and then you got this t, and then you essentially took the square root of t, and then you finally got the answer, which is 6. So you can always check it by doing paper pen calculation and ensure that it is correct. I hope it is correct. If there are any issues, you can always correct it, because you know, in the school days you used to have paper pen and you can always correct this. I hope, but for all practical purpose, I know this equation is correct. Okay, so that's the way typically you do this example, or you solve this example. So I hope you like this video where we solved some more problems, like when we did the sum of digit, input digit, and then we also computed the area of triangle. Thank you.